When you think AI and cars, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Self-driving, right? Just cruising down the highway, hands-free. But here's the thing. While we're all dreaming about that future, AI has already parked itself in the garage. It's not just coming, it's here, and it's changing the entire automotive world in ways you probably haven't even thought about. So let's get into it. And this is really the key point I want you to get right from the start. Automotive AI, it's not science fiction anymore. It's not the future. It's already in the passenger seat, right now, quietly doing its thing in millions of cars and factories all over the world. Seriously, think about it. If you've been in any new car lately, you've literally been surrounded by an AI ecosystem. That slick interior isn't just fancy leather and a big screen. No, it's a command center packed with dozens of intelligent systems that are always working behind the scenes, monitoring, learning, and helping out. All right, so first up, let's look at how AI is your co-pilot. Even before we get to the whole self-driving thing, AI is already in the car with you, completely changing what it's like to be behind the wheel. Okay, check this out. A great example is what BMW is doing with its intelligent personal assistant. You know how distracting it is to poke at a touchscreen while you're driving? We all do it, but studies show it's a huge problem. Well, with this system, you just talk. You use your normal voice, and the conversational AI gets it. This is so much more than a cool gadget. It's a massive leap forward for safety, because it lets you keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes where they belong, on the road. But here's where it gets really interesting. The AI story doesn't start when you drive the car off the lot. Oh no, it starts way, way before that, back on the factory floor. This is where every single car gets what you might call a digital birth. And this right here is one of the coolest and most powerful ideas in manufacturing today. It's called the digital twin. What you're seeing is the real deal. On one side, you've got the physical nuts and bolts engine. And on the other side, you've got its virtual soul, a perfect digital copy linked by a constant flow of data. So what exactly is a digital twin? Well, it's not just some static 3D model, that's for sure. Think of it more like a living, breathing blueprint. It's connected to the real thing with sensors, so it's constantly getting updated with real-time data. And what that means is engineers can run simulations, monitor for problems, and tweak the design in the virtual world all before they ever have to lay a wrench on the actual physical object. Pretty amazing, right? Now, companies like Tesla, they've taken this whole idea and run with it. They've gone to the extreme. Inside their smart factories, you've got AI-powered robots assembling cars with insane precision. But the real magic is happening behind the scenes. They have a digital twin of the entire factory running in parallel. This virtual factory uses AI to constantly chew on data, predicting when a piece of machinery is going to need maintenance before it even breaks. It's proactive, not reactive. And the impact of this is, well, it's staggering. Just look at the numbers. At one of BMW's plants, this kind of AI-driven predictive maintenance saves them about 500 minutes of assembly line downtime a year. Now, 500 minutes might not sound like a ton, but in a factory that's pumping out a brand new car every 57 seconds, that's a huge deal. That's a massive, massive gain in efficiency. Okay, so whenever we talk about this much automation, there's always the big elephant in the room, right? What does this mean for human jobs? And it's a fair question, but the story here isn't as simple as robots replacing people. It's more about a fundamental transformation of the jobs themselves. This data from the World Economic Forum really paints the picture. Yeah, they estimate that about 85 million jobs could be displaced by 2025 because of this shift. But, and this is the important part, they also predict that 97 million new roles will be created. So do the math. It's not a net loss of jobs. It's a huge evolution in the kind of jobs that will be available. So what does that evolution actually look like on the ground? Well, let's compare an old role to a new one. You had the traditional mechanic, right? They relied on their tools, their gut, and years of experience. The new role, let's call it a data technician. This person is part mechanic, for sure, but they're also part data scientist. They're the ones digging into all that sensor data from the cars to find problems before they even happen. It completely flips the script, turning maintenance from just fixing what's broken into a proactive science. Now, it's not all smooth sailing. This road to an AI-powered future has some pretty serious speed bumps. You know the old saying, with great power comes great responsibility? Well, the auto industry is staring down a massive roadblock right now, and it's all about responsible AI. And you might be thinking, hang on, if AI is so smart, what's the problem? And that's a totally fair question. The issue, the real crux of it, is that an AI is only as good and only as fair as the data we train it on. This is where it gets really, really tricky. If the data we feed an AI is biased or doesn't fully represent the real world, well, the AI's decisions will be biased too. It can lead to some really shocking and unfair results. For example, one study found that certain AI systems made Black pedestrians wait over 30% longer to cross the street than white pedestrians. That's a huge problem, and it creates this massive challenge for developers. How in the world do you make sure the data you're using is completely impartial so the AI's decisions are too? So, to get past this roadblock, the industry has to build trust. And that means building what's called responsible AI. It's based on a few core ideas. First, it has to be equitable. It has to actively fight bias, not make it worse. Second, it's got to be traceable, so we can actually look under the hood and understand why it made a certain decision. Of course, it has to be reliable and secure. And maybe most important of all, there has to be governance, which is just a fancy way of saying humans are always in the driver's seat, ultimately in control and responsible for what happens. Okay, so bearing all that in mind, where is this all headed? What's the future look like? Right now, it seems like we're looking at two different roads to tomorrow, two really distinct and powerful visions for what comes next. Vision number one is the one you've probably heard a lot about, especially from companies like Tesla. It's the robo-taxi network. The dream here is that once your car can drive itself completely, you won't just let it sit in the driveway. You'll send it out to work for you as a driverless taxi, picking people up and earning you money. It would totally change the whole idea of what it means to own a car. Then there's the second vision. This one is less about a flashy consumer product and more about a massive industry-wide shift. It's about taking that digital twin idea to its ultimate conclusion. We're talking about creating a digital product passport for every single part of a car. This passport would track a component's entire journey, from the moment its raw materials are mined all the way to how it's recycled at the end of its life. The goal? A completely sustainable, circular economy for manufacturing. And this is a perfect visual for that contrast, isn't it? On one hand, you have the sleek, simple, consumer-facing dream of the robotaxi. And on the other, you have the incredibly complex, data-heavy industrial vision of a sustainable manufacturing world. One vision changes how we use our cars. The other one changes how they're made, forever. This quote really just nails it. The real question isn't just what will cars look like, it's what kind of people and what kind of jobs will we need to keep this new world on the road. It's a total redefinition of not just the car, but of our entire relationship with getting from point A to point B. And that really leaves us with one final big question to chew on. We know for a fact that AI can help us build a better car, a smarter, faster, more efficient one, no doubt about it. But the real challenge, and honestly the real opportunity, is this. Can we use this amazing technology to build a better world? A world that's smarter, yeah, but also more fair and more sustainable for everyone. That's the real journey ahead.